Okay, so I'm going to be demonstrating the lesson. We're not going to go fully through the lesson. I am going to talk about the lesson in between everything, so be sure to take notes. I'm recording the lesson right now, so you'll be able to see it later. Okay? So you're going to walk into your classroom. You're going to want to be dressed well and be ready and be prepared. And the first thing you're going to do is introduce yourself and your partner, and you want to thank the teacher for letting you be there. So you'll start by saying, so for today, my partner will be Miss Goldberg. Okay, so I'll say, good afternoon, class. My name is Omar Elizondo. I'm a student from the UTeach program. My partner is Miss Goldberg, and I want to thank so-and-so, the teacher, for having us today, and we're going to teach you a pretty cool lesson, okay? This is a simple introduction, so make sure you do that. All right, so now we're going to move to the first part, which is going to be our engagement. The engagement, my recommendation for this is to do literally what I'm going to do. We don't want you to deviate from it. There's going to be a purpose for it. So here's the engagement. Okay, class, what do I have here? Paper clips. All right, excellent. I have some paper clips. Can anybody tell me what this is? A magnet. How do we know it's a magnet? Is there a way we can test to see if it's magnets? Yeah, put it in your paper clips and we'll see what happens, right? Okay, well, we're going to do that, but I actually made a bet with Mr. Goldberg on our way over here to your school, and we made a pretty simple bet. And in here, I have 50 paper clips. And we were talking about that magnet, and Ms. Goldberg, she thinks that it's going to pick up less than 20. I think it's going to pick up more than 20. Now, I'm writing this, but your partner can write this on the board. Right? So that way you work as a team. Okay, so that's the bet. And whoever wins is going to have to buy the other person lunch. I'm really hoping I win. So how many do I need in order to win?
21.
I need 21 or more, and I'm good. I'm golden, right? Okay, so here we go. We're going to find out. So you all are going to observe. This is what I'm going to call fishing. It's like I'm going to be using the magnet to fish. So I'm going to go fishing, and I hope I get more than 20 because I want to win. Here we go. Uh-oh. That's a lot. Look at that. So does the magnet work? Yeah, it does work, right? It's pretty cool. So what I need is, Leticia, I need you to help me. Can you put your hand out? And we're going to count these. It might be a little tedious. Sometimes you might get one or two sticking to each other. But I want you all to count with me, all right? So I'm going to show you the paper clips, and you count with me, all right? 2. That's 2. 3. I have 2 stuck to each other. 4, 5. 4, 5. I have 2 here. 6, 7. I have 2 here. 8, 9.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
Uh-oh.
20, 21, 22.
Who won? I did, right? I did. Thank you, class. Okay, that's our engagement. It's really to the point. Let me tell you why we did this engagement. So now I'm not demonstrating the lesson. I'm telling you some stuff about the lesson. This is what we're going to be doing in our lesson. We're going to be doing something with magnets, and this is going to play a role later on. You want to get the students counting with you so it's a little bit more engaging, because I could be here going like this. And that's boring. So get the kids counting with you. Here's a piece of advice. When you're fishing for magnets, if you stick this just right above it, right above them, you get a couple. Okay? And that's what you want. I don't care about the bet, whatever. That's not a real bet. You know that. But if you go deep in, we're going to be here forever with Leticia counting over and over and over again. So don't go all the way in, because the kids will get excited to count. Sometimes the kids get very excited to count. 1, 2, 3, they go crazy. But to move along, instead of this taking too long, we cut it down, just get the top. Okay, that's your engagement. That's what you're going to be doing for your engagement. Okay. All right, class. Thank you. I won the bet, so Ms. Goldberg goes to lunch after this lesson. Now, what Ms. Goldberg passed out to you is a document. Okay, it's a colored document. So everybody, make sure you have one. So this document should be passed out by your partner, the partner who's not leading this portion of the lesson. Let me take a second to talk about this document so that you understand why there's a certain reason it is the color that it is. So you want to make sure students are in line or they're on the proper portion of the assignment, right? So if you look at the top right, it's numbered, and you know that it's colored. We're gonna give you colored documents. These documents you will not have to print, we will have them for you. So automatically with my eyes, I can tell where everybody should be and if everyone's on the right side and not on the green side. We wanna be on the red side, okay? So class, we need to be on the red section, and I want everybody to point to number 1. Point to number 1 on your paper. Excellent. So everybody's on number 1? Good job, class. You need to do that because sometimes the students are like, okay, I'm just going to take the document and start writing, and they're writing on the wrong side. So everybody has to be on the correct side. It's on page 1 and the red document. And if necessary, I can tell you we're starting on the red document.
All of your teachers should have a document reader like this one. So when you show up to your observation, look for it, make sure it's there. And then the second thing is when you show up for your actual lesson, let your teacher know that you'll be using it so that they can warm it up. Because sometimes it can take a couple minutes for the bulk to warm up.
So I don't know you all, and that's okay because you're not going to know your students either. And there's a way you can get to know your students is that when you go to your first observation, you get a roster, and you go upstairs and you get some of these. What are these? Obstacle sticks. And the best thing about them is you can write the students' names. So what you could do is some pretty interesting stuff. So right here I have, is it Joanna Gonzalez? Where's Joanna Gonzalez? Perfect. Joanna Gonzalez. You're on the red side. Can you read the yellow sentence here for the class? What are some examples of things that are and are not magnetic in the world? I gave the task to a student because I wanted the student to participate. So class, in your groups, I'm going to ask you to talk about what are some examples of things that are and are not magnetic in the world. But before you begin, I actually want a certain number. I want to know about 5 magnetic items that you can think of in the world. So you guys can write the numbers down too if you like. And I want to know about 5 non-magnetic items in the world. There's no wrong answers. All right? So I want you to talk in your groups. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do that, to make your list of 10 items, 5 magnetic and 5 non-magnetic. We may begin. Now think about it in the sense of elementary kids. What are they going to write?
You are in third or fourth grade.
What are they going to write down?
So what's our first one? Sorry. Okay, what do you think? Because you stick magnetism. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good read. What color is that?
I might actually be like, this might actually not be right.
It would be.
So then I say, they may not. They don't say
There's no wrong answers if you think of it. And you all don't have to agree. Okay? I want to see 10 items.
So what's one thing that we like fingernails? Working nails. Okay. So when did we say nails? When did we say iron? We know iron. Okay. So students may say that. They may say what else? They may say it's made out of. It's silvery, it's shiny. Paperclips, why is paperclips? I don't know they're magnetic. We just said so what's one thing that magnetic? Why do you think magnetic? No, see
You guys have 3 minutes, 3 minutes remaining. You guys got all of them? You need one more.
Yeah, we have the refrigerator. So what have you made? Gold. Okay, why do we need those?
What did we come up with? Why do we think it's nothing?
1 minute remaining. 1 minute.
So we're saying things that are better than things like
I need to be on the red side. Okay, class, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I need eyes on me. Wait on one student. Thank you. Okay, so right there, that's an attention getter. You haven't done your observations yet, right? So when you go to your observation, ask the teacher, what do you use to get the class's attention? Elementary, it's usually things like eyes on me. Some teachers clap, and the students have to respond. Do what the teacher is doing. Eyes on me is pretty common. Now, if you do something like eyes on me, it literally means eyes on me. So what I could have done was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, eyes on me, and then, okay, so what we're going to do next, and just go straight into the lesson. If you do that, you need to wait. So what you do is you say eyes on me, you wait. And then you can do something, you can move into, like Joanna's writing right now, I could easily go to Joanna, eyes on me. Joanna's not paying attention to me, we can move on. Just count 3 seconds in your mind, and then move on to the next. Okay, so that you need to think about your attention getter.
And what else did Mr. Elizondo say? He said, eyes on me. He was waiting. Then what did he say after that? I'm waiting for one more student. So he was making sure that the whole class was with him. So you can say things like, I'm waiting for one more student. Or you can say, I like how this group is ready to go. And so the rest of the class is like, oh, I like this group. And that's much more effective than saying, I'm waiting on one! You know, so don't single out a student.
Additionally, what was Ms. Goldberg and I doing when you all were doing your activity?
Walking around.
Walking around. We were asking some questions. You don't always have to ask questions, but we want to see that the students are doing their work. We want to see that they're actually talking about the topic. And there might be a group that's a little bit behind, and we can go up to them and, okay guys, you still need 2 more. 30 seconds left. That's another thing I did. I kept a timer. You can have a timer on the board, but I recommend verbally telling the class, you have 4 minutes left. Keep your watch on you. 2 minutes left. Let's use these watches for the purpose that they were meant for. Okay? All right, so we've done that. The students have completed their task. They have their 10 items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it with the class. So here we go. Suzette, where is Suzette? Suzette, can you give me one item that was magnetic that you talked about?
A fridge.
A fridge. Excellent. Yeah, I know some things that are magnetic. A fridge. Josué, ustedes? Josué, what's one thing that was magnetic?
Staples.
Staples. Excellent. All right. Notice I'm randomly calling you all. Katie Gonzalez. Katie, one thing that was magnetic. Scissors. Right. And if you're missing some in your group, you can steal some of these ideas. Mario Science? A phone. Phones are magnetic. Joanna, what'd you pick? What's one thing you got? For magnetic. A pen. Okay, cool. We have 5 things. And what we did there was, it was random with the paper clips. I don't need to know the students' names. The students are right here. I don't know y'all. But I have these right in front of me. But I still got 5 more to go. Leticia. Where's Leticia? Leticia, give me one thing that was non-magnetic. Paper. Right. How about Daniela? Where is she? She's not here. I'm going to go on my apps and power. Gabriel. Gabriel, what's one thing that was non-magnetic? Wood. Like a pencil, maybe. Okay. Richard.
Plastic.
Plastic. It's not magnetic. Now, I'm not saying you guys are right. I'm just getting what y'all are thinking is right. Magnetic, not magnetic. Arturo.
Paper.
Paper. Did we already say that? You already said paper. You got something else?
Rubber.
Rubber. All right. And Mireya?
A book.
A book. also my paper. Okay, so what I did there was I let the class talk about it. I haven't taught you anything about magnets. You guys were discussing it. I didn't tell you what is magnetic. I didn't even tell you if you were right or wrong. And then I randomly got the answers from the students. Okay, so just let them come up with it. There's no wrong answer in this. They're just exploring, they're just brainstorming. All right? Okay, great. So if you're missing any, make sure you have a total of 10 class. We're going to move on to the yellow box. The yellow box. Okay? I need a student for this one. Maria Sanchez. Where's Maria Sanchez? After pile right there. Look at Martha taking attendance. Vanessa. Where's Vanessa? Vanessa, could you read this yellow sentence for the class?
What did you find in the mystery bag?
What did you find in the mystery bag? You're going to get a mystery bag in a second. But I need to demonstrate what we're going to do. You guys remember this? Our magnet. We're going to do a mystery bag, and I need the help of Ms. Goldberg for this one. I'm going to demonstrate the rules of the mystery bag. Okay? Now, we don't know what's in the bag, but there's something in there. So you and your partner are going to pair up. One person is going to go fishing in the mystery bag and take out some stuff. Whatever you take out has to be on this tray. Everybody have a white tray? Excellent. So I don't want to see anything on the tables. I don't want to see anything in your hands. I want to see it on the white tray. You can go fishing once or twice. You can stick it in there. You can go fishing once or twice. But there's 2 rules you need to know about this. And I'm going to write them down. I'm going to write them down for the sake of the class. But remember, you can have these already written down. You can take them on a poster board, or your partner can do it. So rule number 1 is don't look in the bag. Because it's a mystery bag. The second rule is don't remove anything unless I tell you to do so. Now, this is kind of a drain on the part of the lesson, but this is why I can say it and my partner's right. For here in our class, it's okay. But we want to be moving forward when we're teaching it, right? So I will be saying it, my partner will be writing. Okay? And then just to reiterate, you can ask the students the rules. So Johanna, what's rule number 1? Don't look in the bag. Brenda Lee, what's rule number 2? Mr. Elizondo? Okay, you write whatever you want, right? And just so you know, you go by your last name with the students. You're not Brenda Lee. You're Miss Sanchez. So just go with that. All right, so everybody knows the 2 rules. Miss Goldberg is passing out the mystery bags.
Why is it so important to put that second rule?
I think you put on the same bag to start.
Right, yeah. The minute they see the bags, they're gonna be like, oh! So you definitely need to emphasize that they are not allowed to touch anything until you give them the go-ahead. So one of the most important things that you're going to be saying during your lesson is, hands on your laps. Everybody, hands on your laps, hands on your laps, hands on your laps. And the reason why you're going to use that so often is because once something's on the table, they're going to want to touch everything. And so when they're going crazy and they're touching everything, remember to say what? Hands on your laps. So that way.
Another thing to notice is that, first of all, what's in front of you? What are the 2 items in front of you? Mystery bag and tray. What don't you have? Why do you think she hasn't passed out the magnets?
Because they would already the 2 right.
The second you give it to them, the second you give them the magnet. That's what kids do. So she's deliberately holding off on the magnets. Okay? So now Ms. Goldberg is going to pass out the magnets. Oh, safety. I always forget about safety. Safety is an issue with this. So with safety, you want to bring up a couple of things with the safety. But it shouldn't really come from you. It should come from the students. So class, what should we not be doing with our magnets? Playing? What else? Hitting each other? What else?
Poking.
No poking? What's that? Don't bite them. You don't know where these have been. What else? Don't throw them. Can we drop them? No, please try not to drop them. That's about 6 rules we got, and who came up with the rules? The students. And if there's a rule that I really need them to know, I can ask, or I can just tell them. It's just safety. But yeah, bring up safety. Even I forget safety sometimes. Okay? But that's important. We don't want these to fall because then they could break and it's a hassle. We need to get more and stuff like that. But also bring up the safety, let it come from the students. Okay, so once you get your magnet, you may begin fishing. One partner will fish and the other partner will hold the bag. If you don't get to fish now, you'll get to fish a little later. Okay? And once whatever you take out of the bag goes on your foam tray. Go ahead and go fishing. Don't look in the bag.
There you go.
Don't look. Don't look in the bag. Don't look in the bag. You can fish more than once. Yeah. Don't look in the bag.
Okay, I think it's
Maybe try one more time just in case. All right. Got your stuff. Where does it belong? All right, y'all went fishing. All right, eyes on me. Thank you, class. All right, so everybody went fishing. What did y'all get out? All kinds of stuff. Okay, it's all kinds of stuff. I will tell you, you need to have 4 things. Does everybody have 4 things? Yes. Okay, excellent. Now I want you to write down what you got right here where it says magnetic. Not in the non-magnetic because we haven't done that yet. So write down the 4 items you got in the magnetic section. You can draw them if you need to. I'll give you about 2 minutes to do that. And you can help your partners out if you need to. One more minute. One more minute. If you don't know what it's called, you can draw it.
Okay, where are your magnets?
Away.
Yeah, did I announce it? Did I say anything about it? No, I was really stealthy. I just snuck in there. So, at this point, it's very important you must pick up the magnets. You must pick up the magnets. What happens if you don't pick up the magnets? They're playing with magnets. So, also you need to have them picked up before the next activity. So, you don't need to make an announcement about it. Just your partner can go by really sneakily, grab the magnets, because if you say, okay, I'm picking up the magnets now, what are the students going to say? No! So this is a good way to take the magnets without them really noticing while they're busy working on drawing and naming the different items.
Okay, so we'll wrap it up. I'll count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're eyes on me. So now we're going to move on. Good job, class. Okay, so I'm randomly going to select a few people. Isaac, where's Isaac? Isaac. Did you get this, Isaac, in your bag? This thing that I have?
Yes.
What is this? It's not a screw. It's a bolt. We're going to call it a bolt. Okay, so if you got this, we're going to write 1 here. We're going to write bolt. All right?
What's the difference? The tip. Right, screws are pointy, bolts are flat. Screws are more deadly, bolts are safer.
Why don't we give elementary students screws? You don't know what these kids will do, so we give them a bolt. Okay, Melissa. Where's Melissa? Melissa, did you get this?
Yes.
What is this?
The lock.
A lock? Anyone else want to throw out a name for this? A clip? We are going to call it a link. Like a chain link. We're going to call it a link. Okay?
Did you get that right?
Leslie, where's Leslie? Leslie, did you get this? What is this? A paperclip. We all know what that is because we interacted with it earlier. The ones that the students have issues with are the bolt and the link. Okay? And one more. I've got Aricel. Did I say that correct? Aricel, did you get this?
Yes.
What's this?
No, I'm washing.
We call this a washer. Excellent. So we got 4 things. Make sure everybody got these. These are the things that were magnetic inside the bag. So what we just did was we made sure we're all on the same page and we all have the same vocabulary. We know what the link is, we know what the bolt is, and we know everything else. All right? Okay, so there's something else in your bag. That's something else, class. Is it magnetic or non-magnetic?
Non-magnetic.
How do we know?
Didn't pick it up.
What didn't pick it up? The magnet didn't pick it up, right? Okay. So you can stick your hand in the bag or you can empty it out. Go ahead and take out whatever is in the bag. This is obviously not magnetic. And go ahead and write down what it is. Go ahead and write that down right here in the non-magnetic section. In the non-magnetic section. You always have to go back and tell the students and show the students where they need to write. Okay? So, okay, guys. Brianna, did I say that right? Is that Brianna? Brianna, what did you get? Show the class what you got in your bag.
Guessing it's some marble.
Marble? Yeah, you got this, right? Not everybody got this. Did anybody get this? Yeah, it's a button. They're both non-magnetic. Write down whatever you got. We can call this a marble. We can call this a pebble. You call it whatever you want, okay? Some kids will say, oh, this is what I use for bingo. Right? Doesn't matter. They need to be on the same vocabulary. So you can call this a marble, and what's this? It's easy. A button.
This is technically actually a glass gem, so you can write gem or glass gem. That's officially what it's called.
Yeah, that one you can write whatever you like. Okay, so go ahead and write that down here. I got button, so that's mine. Okay, excellent. So we were able to test a couple of things, class, that were magnetic and non-magnetic. So here's what you need to do. We'll go ahead and write down 1 here and 2 here. I want you to work with your group. You can do it with a group or you can do it by yourself, whatever you like, but I prefer a group. And I want 2 complete sentences. So I want 1 sentence here and 1 sentence here that tells me what did you just learn about magnetic and non-magnetic items. Okay? So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do that. I want 2 complete sentences.
You want them to write their conclusion based off their observations. So they shouldn't be writing a conclusion based off what they already know. They might already know some things about magnetic and non-magnetic items. Based off what they observed, based off the stuff in your tray, what can you conclude about what is magnetic and what is not magnetic?
All right, so write down your 2 sentences. Based on what we have.
So these are all so magnetic one. Is this magnetic?
Yeah.
So what is it? Okay, so they're all gray, they're all metal. And is this one? No,
Not necessary.
pick it up.
Because I can pick any of this actually, and I can pick it up because that's.
So what did we?
So that's what the magnet. Go ahead.
So these are all metal.
We all got it.
How do you know? How do you know they're metal? They're shiny. Okay, what else? They're all silver. What did we do?
You got about 30 seconds.
It's very material.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can I get a thumbs up if you are done with your sentences? Okay, pretty much everybody's done except for one group. So I'm gonna give you about 15 seconds. Now what I just did there was, with thumbs up, I can see the entire class. Are we all okay? Because some students are going to write slowly and some students are going to write quickly. This portion of the lesson where they're having to originate a thought and put it on paper might take about 4 or 5 minutes. So make sure you're facilitating this portion really quick, okay? You want to make sure that they come up with their conclusions. So what I need you to do now is I need you to get your foam tray and empty it back into the mystery bag, and Ms. Goldberg is going to pick up the mystery bags in a second. But leave your foam tray there. So everything needs to go back in the bags, and Ms. Goldberg is going to pick them up. Now what I just did there was I indirectly told Ms. Goldberg what to do. She's my partner, she's in the back. But she knows, respectfully, I told her, Ms. Goldberg can pick it up. I'm directing you guys, but she said, oh, I gotta pick them up. So you want to work that way with your partner. Just say, oh, so-and-so's going to do this. Okay, you forgot, right? So that way you be in communication and the students don't know it. The students think you know the lesson forward and backwards. Okay? Okay, so here's one more thing. I went around and I saw what some of y'all were writing. You guys were writing some really interesting things. The elementary students are going to write some interesting things. And you kind of want to find some students that are going to give you the answer you want without it being too obvious. All right? So, conclusion number 1. Okay, so Mireya, can you tell me, what did you write for your conclusion number 1?
Yes, I wrote magnetic objects are made of metal or they are shiny.
So metal equals magnetic. Okay. Now I'm only doing a shorthand for you. Don't do the shorthand for the kids because I want to move forward. Okay. And number 2, just for the sake of it, what did you get for number 2?
Plastic are not magnetic items.
Plastic doesn't equal magnetic. Okay. So you want to write down the answers. Real quick. I walked you through this portion of the lesson. We went through this together. These are all opportunities to just move on. Okay, if you're pressed for time, because this takes time asking questions to the class, okay? So you can, in your lesson plan, you can manipulate this a little bit, all right? So I'm doing that now, but that's for the sake of UTeach, not for the elementary school. All right, thank you, class. So we know that things that are metal are magnetic and things that are plastic are not magnetic. Good job. Let's turn the page. Let's turn the page. We're going to be on the green section, which is on page number 2. And let me get a volunteer for this. Denise, where's Denise? Denise, can you read the yellow sentence here?
What will be magnetic from the plastic bag?
What will be magnetic from the plastic bag? Ms. Goldberg is going to pass out a plastic bag to everybody. And inside of it are going to be some items you're familiar with. But there's a couple of new items that you're going to need to be familiar with. There's 3 of them. One of them is this one. Can anybody tell me what that is? That's a foil ball. That's something new. Okay? The next is going to be this. Anybody know what this is? It's going to be a soda tab. Soda tab.
Make sure you refer to this as the soda tab. So there's also a plastic cap, and if we call it soda cap, plastic cap, they're going to get confused.
And what is this? Plastic cap. If you ever forget about the terminology, I'm telling you this right now, you look a little bit ahead, you're already at the bottom. Now, as a student, you're not supposed to go there yet, right? But I'm just telling you just in case. So we do have 3 new items, and in your plastic bag, we're going to have some items that you're familiar with, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to make predictions on what's going to be inside the plastic bag, okay? So in it, whatever is inside the bag, you're going to write what is magnetic, or what you think is going to be magnetic, and what you think is going to be non-magnetic in the bag. Okay? So Ms. Goldberg is going to pass that out to you right now, and you'll be able to see that. And do not take anything out of the bag. You don't need to take anything out. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to make your prediction on what is and is not magnetic. Make your prediction. What is and is not magnetic. What's not back? It's a prediction. Right, but it's not aluminum. It's coated.
That's coated. So it doesn't matter the color, or does it? The cover might matter?
You have one more minute?
So maybe it'll be less. So it's a plastic ring. So do you think that will affect it?
Just making sure that's everything.
You
want me to prediction for you? So the new stuff is not going to affect it. What is this?
What is this about?
What do you call it? Don't make your prediction. Yeah, on the bottle. Same reason? And you think everything will be good? Y'all agree or disagree?
Do you think it might still be better inside? What do you think?
I wonder what you think.
Oh, well.
You're making a prediction based on what you see. Oh, just making a prediction. And let's see if it's magnetic or not. Okay, so that's the cap at Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Eyes on me, please. Excellent, good job. I heard some really good discussions out there. Now remember, you need to think about, you need to try to see it through the lens of how the students are going to see it, okay? Now, if we needed to positively extend the class or extend the lesson, we could do what we've been doing here, where I ask, Joseph, what do you think is magnetic? Mary, what do you think is magnetic? Sarah, what do you think is not magnetic? We can do that. But at this point, we need to start moving the lesson forward. I'm just telling you, you can do that here, but I wouldn't recommend it. All right, you've already been doing that the whole lesson. So now I need to demonstrate how we're going to fish this time. All right, so class, you're going to get your magnet back, okay? But not just yet. You're going to go fishing. But this time, the person who fished the previous time now gets to fish. So if you fish first, you have to hold the bag. Your partner's going to hold the bag like this, but you have to fish a particular way. You can only put it in the bag once and pull it out. That's it. You get one shot. One shot. You can't go in and shake it all about. You can't do that. It goes in, comes out. One time. Leticia, how many times can we fish? One time.
If you'll notice, Mr. Lozano, he'll put it next to the bag, but it doesn't actually put it in.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you fish, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit more. So Miss Goldberg is gonna pass the magnets back out. You're gonna get to fish one time, and whatever comes out of the bag, where does it belong? On the tray. On the tray. Okay. And you can only fish once. You can go ahead and start fishing that one time when you get the magnet. Put your items on the tray, and that's it. Just one shot. Oh, you didn't know it's a plastic cap? You get to fish one time. Close your bag. When you're done fishing that one time, close your bag.
everyone goes back
Get out. Try fishing one more time. Try fishing one more time.
Oh, actually, Mr. Alfonso, this is my best friend.
All right, so everybody should be done fishing. Your items should be on the paper tray. Everybody good? You guys get anything out? You didn't get anything out? Try fishing one more time. Give it one more shot. Jump fish. Oh, love her. Check the back. Maybe some stuff is stuck in there. Let's just be sure. Okay. All right. Eyes on me. What did y'all get out of the bag? That's it? That's it? Wait, you guys got that and a link? We'll talk about that in a second. Did anyone else get a link? No one else got a link? Only you guys got the link. That's weird. Oh, let's find out. So, I'm gonna, this is their magnet. You guys think they have a special magnet? Yes? Some people say yes, some people say no. Okay, so I'm gonna bring your stuff over here because I want everybody to see it. Okay, so can everybody see that? Okay, so you guys are either really awesome or you made a mistake. We're gonna find out. So this is their magnet. Does anybody think, raise your hand if you think their magnet is special. Some of you think their magnet is special. Okay, so Leticia, you think,
Is that what I meant?
Leticia thinks that their magnet is special. So I'm gonna borrow yours. I'm gonna borrow yours. So let's see if what, remember this is Leticia. Leticia has the green one. Let's see what Leticia gets, okay?
What?
Okay, that's weird. It didn't pick up the loop. That's strange. Okay, so I'm gonna give Leticia back hers back. Okay. Now this is yours. You guys think yours is special? Let's find out. It's the same thing. What's going on here?
They cheated.
I'm gonna put them right next to each other. Look.
What do you think?
Put the paperclip under the.
Put it like this.
Yeah.
Like that. What's going on here? It is cheating. What's going on? All right, class, I need your attention. I'm going to ask a question. What do you think is going on here? Why did this happen? Raise your hand if you want to answer. I'm going to call it. Oh. Okay, you want to raise it? Go ahead.
The paper magnetic and it's holding the other one against.
Oh, it's pushing it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So is this magnetic? So did you guys have a special magnet?
No.
Did you have a special link?
We had a special circumstance.
You had a special circumstance. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's bound to happen. So you guys only got the paperclip. So class, I need you to write down what was magnetic here and what was not magnetic here. And then I'm going to talk about the details of that. Okay. So you should, so as a UTeach class, you should only have the paperclip written down and everything else is non-magnetic.
Now, at this point, you would want to pick up the magnets. However, we left them out for a very particular reason. We wanted you to notice something. So, what do you notice about the magnet you have now?
They're weaker than the first one.
They're weaker than the first one. Who agrees with Richard that they're weaker than the first one? Well, why? But isn't it the same magnet as the first one? It's the same shape. It's the same size. It's a different color. It's a different color. Who has a different color than their first magnet? So do you think that's why? Because I gave you a different color, it's a different magnet? It's weaker? So how could we test this?
Take out another.
Right, you could have them switch. So you could have them switch with another group. So okay, what color did you have before? Green. So here's another green. And then what color did you have before?
Yellow.
You had a yellow. Okay, so you can try with the yellow. And so you can have them test it with a different color. Did it make a difference? Okay. So now I'm going to pick up your bag.
Okay, so everybody should have everything written down and we will move on to the next section of the lesson. But let's talk about this part for a second. So, Leticia, I'm gonna be bugging you again. Please keep that. Okay, so there is a reason you need to be deliberate on telling the students that they can only fish once. If you need to write down the rule, go ahead, but I asked Leticia to repeat that you can only fish once. The reason for that is, as teachers, this stuff is different than the other stuff you had. They may look the same, they may look like links and their washers and all that, but they're different. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I threw in a few things that are red herrings, and we'll talk about that at the end. But how to fish. When they fish, it's best that they go in like this, and they're only going to pull out the paper clips, because the paper clips are the only thing that are magnetic. All right? I've done this lesson so many times that if you give them too much time with the magnets, they're going to be doing this. They're going to be, and then stuff like this happens. The plastic cap is magnetic. I'm cool. I got it. No one else got it, so I'm cool. Plastic caps are magnetic, and you never know with elementary kids. It might be a long time before they find out that plastic caps are not magnetic. Okay? But why? We tested it there. Why? Is because the paper clip is sticking, is between the magnet and the plastic cap. If something like that happens, you want to problem solve it. Don't tell them what's going on. Ask questions. Why is this happening? What happens if I do this? Just test it. The whole point is since it's your first lesson, I don't want you to deal with that, because you're going to freak out like, I have no idea where to go with this. What do I do? What do I do? You just want to tell them, look, just do this. Oh, see? You don't want to do that, though. That's not our goal in UTeach. So you tell them, go in, fish once, pull it out. That's it. This group had issues because the paper clip was at the very bottom of the bag. So you might want to go in. All right, go ahead. You get one more opportunity to fish. But you shouldn't have that issue. But we want to avoid it ahead of time. Okay?
So
that's something you
what
want.
are the students going to think? What are they going to think? Why didn't it work? Because it was fast. The magnets are broken. The magnets are broken. That's what they think. There's something wrong with the magnets. Give you a weaker magnet. Give you a broken magnet. So you can tell them the magnets are all the same, but are they going to believe you? No. So how do you prove to them that it's the same magnet?
You make them switch like the one they had.
Right, so make them switch, so you can give them one color the first time, give another the second time, make them switch. How else can they test that their magnet is still working? Did it pick up nothing? It did pick up the paper clip, so you could ask them, well, did it pick up anything? They could be like, well, it picked up the paper clip. So, you could have them test some other things. So again, they won't believe you. They're gonna think you gave them a broken or a weak magnet. So let them test out a few things to prove to them, no, the magnet is the same. It's the same magnet as the time before.
Okay, so that's very particular that you get the steps right. You can only fish once. To minimize that, when you're teaching your lesson, cut the class in half. Your partner takes care of one section, and you take care of the other. So if you were teaching in this class, it would probably be right here in the middle, and I would tell Ms. Goldberg, I got these 3 groups, and she's got those 4 groups. So she only has to worry about those 4. She only has to manage those 4, and I only have to manage those 3. And I'll go to Ms. Goldberg, I'll give her a thumbs up, she'll give me a thumbs up. Next portion. Okay, so that's, you gotta be very particular. I don't want you to be in a situation that you don't know what to do. All right, so you've made your list of magnetic and non-magnetic items. That's pretty good. What we have here is a table, and I want us to do the first one together. So I'm going to explain a few things. The very first one was the bolt. That was made out of stainless steel. So Joseph, where's Joseph? Right here, Joseph. The bolt, was it metal?
Yes.
Yes. Was it magnetic? No. I'm only going to check it if it's true. So the bolt was metal, so I checked it, but it was not magnetic, so I didn't check it. Okay? So looking at the stuff and looking at your results, I would like for you to go through the rest of the chart with your group, discuss it with your group. Only check if it is correct, if it's true. Okay? I'll give you about 2 minutes to do that. Only check if it's true.
Can you please put any items on your tray back to the baggie?
says that a soda tap. Agree with that or disagree? Why do you think it's metal? Why do you think it's not? No, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just asking.
We need to check any of the
You're not sure. So your question, you're not sure on that, okay? So we get our, you're not, okay. We can find out. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, class, so I'm gonna try to get your information about these, all right? We went ahead and went over the bolt, and we know that the bolt is metal and it was not magnetic. What's the next one? The soda tap. Okay, was that metal? Yeah, it is metal. Aluminum is a metal. Was it magnetic? No, so I leave it alone. The next one is the plastic cap. Is this metal? No. So do I check it? Is it magnetic? Nope. The foil ball made out of aluminum. Is that a metal? Yes, aluminum is a metal. Is it magnetic? No. The washer made out of zinc. Is that a metal? Yes. Is it magnetic? No, it wasn't. Weird. A lot of metal stuff that wasn't magnetic. Next is the paper clip. Is this, it's made out of steel. Was this metal?
Yes.
Was it magnetic?
Yes.
Whoa, interesting stuff. Okay. And the link, is this metal?
Yes.
Is it magnetic? No. What was the only item that was magnetic? The steel paper clip. That's crazy. So here's what we're gonna do next. Like we did before, I want you to write 2 complete sentences based on what you just experienced, on your results. 2 complete sentences that summarizes your conclusion based on your results.
Before you do that, just a couple of quick things. When I was walking around the room, I noticed that some of you were not checking off certain things for metal. So as you're going through the list, you say, okay, the bolt, is it metal? You might want to follow up with the students and ask, why is it metal? So that way the students who are not checking off certain things being metal, we can find out why they think it's metal or why not. The other thing that I wanted to mention is when you picked up on the materials, the students might forget what certain things are. So on the board, I don't know if you noticed, we moved them. I put the item next to each one so they could go back and check it. So even though it's not on their table, they can look up at the board and see the different items.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you about 2-3 minutes to write out your conclusions, talk about the conclusions, and then we'll talk about the lesson.
So just because it's metal doesn't make it. Yeah, so it still is magnetic. And if I were to take the first step, what do you think is the first step?
Does it have to be magnetic? So
How
is
can we
there something
test
that
it?
was not magnetic that was?
Use the magnet yet?
Oh, okay.
What did we catch?
Notice that I let you figure that out.
Which one? So, zinc magnetic? What about? What about the steel? Steel, so what can we use that?
Some kinds of metals are not magnetic.
Okay, so it's not just.
Anything made out of steel is magnetic. Okay. You're working on this?
So what do you think was the stuff in the first place?
What y'all write for your conclusion?
How can we do that?
Okay, what else? Steel is magnetic, not all metals are magnetic. Do you guys write things different than that?
Okay, let's go through which, so like zinc.
Good one. Same thing? Okay. Just checking on them.
What about the regular steel?
What y'all write for your conclusion?
So what, not just that out of that.
Okay.
Yeah, more like the tires. And the
Steel was the only magnetic evidence do you have to support that?
I just sit there and go.
That simple premise is very challenging. It's easy for you. Kids, you're asking them to support their own.
What are you referring to?
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eyes on me. Okay, I'm rushing through that. Everybody want to wait. Don't get their attention. So we've reached the climax of the lesson, and this is the most pivotal point. So I went around and I went ahead and got some students' feedback. I'm going to demonstrate some of it real quick. So I have 3 more popsicle sticks, and I have a couple more popsicle sticks. Sorry, and we're going to see what y'all get. Katie, well, can you give me one of the conclusions you came up with?
Steel was the only metal that was magnetic.
Steel was the only metal that was magnetic. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with that. It seems like everybody agrees with that. All right, good. How do we know that steel was the only item that was magnetic? What evidence do we have? But how do you know it's made out of steel? We provided it for you, right? Okay, that simple notion of asking students, like, how do you know that it was made out of steel? What evidence do you have to support that? Even though it's right there in front of us and it's obvious for us, for some of the kids, that might be a high level of thinking for them. Remember, they're elementary kids. Asking questions like that is a really good way to assess their learning and to challenge them. It might be easy for them, but it might be challenging at the same time. Okay, so Dora, where's Dora? Dora, what's another conclusion you wrote? It can't be the same thing.
But not all metals are magnetic.
Not all metals are magnetic. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you agree with that. Put your hand way up. I want to see all the way up. Is there anybody? Everybody seems to agree with that. Good. That's a good statement. What evidence do we have to support that, Dora?
Well, basically that's what we were doing right now. Like we saw that we mixed up metals and we're able to tell that zinc, aluminum, and stainless steel.
Okay, can you tell me one metal that was not magnetic? You can use your chart if you need to.
Zinc.
Zinc? And which item was that?
That was the washer and the leak.
The washer and the link. Okay, excellent. So not all metals are magnetic. Are these two, is zinc a metal? But it wasn't magnetic. Excellent. So where do you go to get that information? The chart. I'm asking you to go to the chart to look at your results. Okay? What she said right there, raise your hand if you wrote that down. Not all metals are magnetic. Excellent. You guys are pretty intelligent. The idea of getting students to write that or to originate that from this experience is challenging. It really is. Every single time I teach this lesson, I probably get maybe about 5 kids that can make that sentence. Not all metals are magnetic. It's really hard. It's easy for you, but it's really challenging for the kids.
What do
And
you
that
think-
is your goal, to get them to understand that.
What do you think they write down?
I wrote down something wrong. I
Okay.
wrote down, not everything magnetic is metal. So I kind of like worded it backwards.
Okay, not everything that's magnetic is metal. Do we have evidence of that from our thing? Do we have something that's not a metal that was magnetic? Okay. So a student might do that. A student might say something that's incorrect, and so you can say, okay, well, what evidence do we have? What evidence do we not have? What do you think the students are going to say, though?
Maybe name the name by the name.
They might name the individual items. They might say, you know, a paper clip is magnetic, whereas a link, a washer, a foil ball, a plastic cap, a soda tap, and a bolt is not magnetic. What else might they say? They may not use the word metal. What might they say? Not all shiny things are are magnetic. Not all silver things are magnetic. So your job is to get them to get from the physical to actually thinking about what it's made of.
So there's a reason we kind of designed this lesson a certain way, because if you look at this chart, you really analyze it, there are pros and cons. Well, there's a counter argument for everything. So here's my argument. Things that are soft, like the aluminum foil or the foil ball, are not magnetic. Is that a statement I can make? Because I can kind of manipulate the shape of this. So is this not magnetic because it's soft and everything else is hard?
Well, the paperclip, is soft.
Okay.
And you could, unfold it and make it, like,
Oh, okay, so I can manipulate this like I can manipulate this.
right.
Okay. Is there anything here that is hard, but is not magnetic?
Chain link.
All of them?
The bulb.
But also maybe the plastic, right? This is a little bit easier to understand. Okay, how about this? If I made a prediction in the bag, and some of you made this prediction, this one is not magnetic because it's got color to it, or it looks like it has rubber. And the ones we've been playing with the whole time are regular paper clips. So color might be a factor in this. This is not magnetic because it's not silver. So things that are silver or metallic are magnetic or aren't magnetic. There's always something here that you can say, but what about this? So you really need to know the lesson so you can fully understand all that. Okay. So in that, I just want to summarize a couple of things. That is your goal. Get the students on their own to understand that not all metals are magnetic. If you did that, you can go home and you can count. This is slap yourself on the back, whatever it is. You give yourself a high five, okay? Because that's challenging to do. The goal of UTeach is for the students to figure it out on their own. So here, let me ask you a couple of questions. Did I teach you anything about magnets? Did I demonstrate how magnets work? I did a little bit in the beginning, right? I got you started with the Engage. The Engage was our clear plastic bag, a little story, a little bet, got you interested in it. Then we went to the Explorer. What were we doing for the Explorer?
Fishing.
You were fishing, what else were you doing? You were talking to each other, were you writing? You were writing, you were thinking about it, you were predicting.
Was that our brainstorm?
Yeah, when you're doing the work, when the student is doing the work and exploring, that's what exploration is, okay? I think we do some explaining. And when I say we, I mean the student.
After every experiment, for every little activity we did.
Yeah, there was a lot of explaining. So we did a lot of explore. And remember, you don't have to do what I'm doing where you go through every single list of every single thing. You don't have to do that, okay? We want the students doing the teaching, which is a really weird concept, right? You guys were teaching each other, and you were looking at the results, okay? Let's go over anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, there's two more things we want to do. So, Mr. Lozando, he said at the end that he picked particular students to give their conclusion. So, at the end of the purple section, he wanted to take students who gave what kind of conclusion?
The
The
correct.
right one, the correct one. But does he need to pick that student first? What would be the advantage of picking Richard first? Somebody who got it wrong. Because see who else did that? And what does it allow the class to do? Have a discussion of why that is incorrect. So you are welcome to pick students who get the wrong answer. In fact, that's a very beneficial thing to do. So they can have, because they might have gotten the wrong answer too. So they can have a discussion of why that is incorrect. Now, you don't want to point it out and be like, Richard's wrong. You just want to be like, well, what do we think? Can someone come up with a counter argument? So don't just pick the right answers. You sometimes want to pick the wrong answers. It's an even better learning experience. Now, do you want to have the correct answer eventually? Yes. So if you're going to pick on 2 students, make sure at least one of them's right. If you pick on 3 students, make sure one of them's correct. With one exception. That's for the purple part. Look at the yellow part. Do you want, let's say there's that one kid, there's always that kid